Now that we have the data saving correctly, let's figure out how to get it back. So in a similar way of how we got back the messages down here, let's create a similar function for users. So my data ref dot the child of users and then we'll give a variable of all names to be the value of that snapshot. And then we'll just quickly console log that. So when we refresh, we get this object with the Twitter ID, which is the provider ID, and then we have this string of Firebase ID, and inside that we have the Twitter ID and my name. So if we log out and log back in with Facebook, we can see that similar data is now being printed here. So to access the data that's inside that, we're going to have to use a couple of for loops. For loops click through all of the data that gets retrieved and find something that we're looking for. So here we'll need to get a list to access the data that it holds. So inside this call to the database, let's create a for loop to look for all the unique provider IDs. I shortened this to be U, so I'm looking for all the U in all names. Now we can just console this, and we can see we get the unique IDs for both Facebook and Twitter. Now inside this, I'll need to go one deeper. We want to get the unique IDs for Firebase, I'll call that I, in all the names of you. And then in here, I can console log all the names of you of I dot name, and that means that we can access this data. So let's refresh here, and we can see I get Carol Louie and Caroline Louie. Let's quickly look at what this means on the database side. When we do our first for loop, we're going to grab the data of our user and we'll get returned the provider IDs, which is Twitter or Facebook. Then we need to run a second for loop to get into this node, which is the Firebase IDs. And once we have access to this data, we can pull the name or the ID out as we want.